One. Formula One. All right, let's talk Formula One, people. Again, this is for midgraderacing.com, my racing website. Today was qualifying for the 2016 Spanish GP, and it was an interesting qualifying, especially in Q3 at the very end. But let's start with just spend a couple minutes talking about Q1. So with about 5 minutes left in Q1, it was Rosberg, Hamilton, Verstappen, Kimi, Vettel, Sainz, Alonso, Kvyat, and so on down the line. Did you notice who was third? Yeah, the kid, Verstappen. The TV people were saying that the cars this year are about 2.5 seconds faster than the cars were last year, but then they focused on the Manor cars. The Manor cars are about 4.5 seconds than they were last year. Last year when they got bumped out and during Q1, the Manor cars were about 6.3 seconds behind the lead car. This year they're only 2.3 seconds behind. I'm sorry, 2.7 seconds behind. So that's well over 4.5 seconds faster than they were last year. There's two things to consider in that. Number one is they have a Mercedes, or a year current Mercedes engine and year current Williams assisted transmission, whereas last year they were using the year before, prior years, Ferrari technology. So there's a lot to be said for having the current year equipment versus a previous model year. But regardless, the cars overall, the field is a lot faster this year than they were last year. So we moved on to Q2, and during Q2, things kind of went south for our buddy DK. DK got knocked out Q2. I believe he qualified in 13th. Something that Buxton said on the TV is that before the Russia race, they were mentioning about how, Kvyat had confidence and whatever, and now in Spain, he doesn't have that same sort of confidence. He's kind of got his slumped shoulders and whatever, which is not the right kind of attitude for a race car driver to have, but them's the brakes, right? At the end of the day, we go into Q3. Hamilton tries to put the hammer down like he did during Q2. He didn't quite go as fast during Q3 as he did during Q2, but he went fast enough that he qualified in the pole position. So Hamilton got the third pole of the season, his 52nd career pole position. No surprise, number 2 was Rosberg. So Mercedes locks out the front row. Second row, Ricciardo and Verstappen for Red Bull, Tag Heuer. Then Raikkonen and Vettel, and then Bottas and Sainz, and finally Perez and Fernando Alonso round out the top 10 qualifiers. So two things are significant in those top 10. McLaren is, for the first time in like a year and a half, since they switched over to the Honda power plant, they are in Q3. They're in the top 10 position. They're 10th, but hey, top 10 counts, right? Helmut Marko was absolutely ecstatic when the time ran out and he saw that the two Red Bull cars were 3rd and 4th. The look on his face was just like, I made the right call. Which is still really early to tell because, anybody can get lucky a couple of times. I'll just talk a little bit more about Verstappen here in a bit. But yeah, overall, this year compared to last year, and just like with the Russia track, the cars are about 2 seconds faster. Ricciardo, by the way, he acknowledged that he did feel a little bit of pressure from the new kid in his team, but he felt like he had the experience to deliver at the end of the day, which he did. Ricciardo did say, I hope to be back here tomorrow. So the start for tomorrow's race is going to be interesting, right? Mercedes, the last few times, have not had the best of luck with their starts, especially Lewis Hamilton. So seeing Max being right there at the start, and then Kimi and Vettel just right behind them, if I'm Rosberg and Hamilton tonight, I'm practicing those starts like crazy until it's just second nature. Not like they never do that, but you know what I'm saying. Now let's talk about Max for a little bit. Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen has one thing going for him, and it's not an insignificant thing, but it's one big thing that he has going for him. And I think some people would call it the exuberance of youth. You know, the exuberance of youth, whatever. I don't want to call it that. I'm going to call it the fearlessness of youth, right? Because the kid's 18, and you remember when you were 18. You're invincible. You're 6 feet tall. You're bulletproof. Nothing can happen to you. Sure, you know, something could happen to you, but is it going to happen to you? Probably not. So you just drive like you got nothing to lose, because literally you have nothing to lose. Think about it. Rosberg has a wife and a kid. Hamilton has his jet set playboy lifestyle that he wants to keep. All right, Ricardo, who knows what the hell he does. Kimi, same thing. He's got girlfriend, effectively a wife, and kids, family. Same thing for Vettel. Same thing for just about everybody on the grid. The only person that doesn't have to contend with any of that is Max. And as a teenager, I feel that Max takes risks that other people won't take. Plus, he's also got the sub advantage of his size, right? He's really small, he's very light, he probably weighs less than Kvyat does. I'm sure he weighs less than Daniel Ricciardo does. So when he gets in this car, it has to move less weight because the driver weighs less. And boom, suddenly he's fast as hell in that car. That's what I think. All I know is tomorrow is going to be a very interesting race. I think it's too early for Helmut Marko, for Dr. Marko, and Red Bull to be patting themselves in the back and congratulating themselves about what a great move this driver swap was. I think it's too early for that. As of right now, it does look like it was a genius move, but we'll have to wait and see how things shake up at the end of the season. I would like to see Daniel Ricciardo on the podium. I wouldn't mind seeing Max Verstappen, but I don't want to see Max at the expense of Daniel Ricciardo. I will say that much. So, let's see how it goes. And Canada is coming up. Chug, 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 quickly. I will be in Canada. I will be in Montreal at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and we'll see how things go. I don't know what I'll do for broadcasting from there, but I'll figure something out. Alright, so this is Raphael from midgridracing.com. Go to Midgrid Racing to check out more news and more reviews from all the big name international news sites, and or subscribe to the channel so you can keep getting my Formula One updates, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya!